What is going on, guys? Craig 1287 here, bringing you some Battlefield 3 gameplay and going to be discussing some newly released content or information about Battlefield 4, specifically the Commander mode. Now, I've got one discussion that I'll be talking about Commander mode and my thoughts on it and things like that. And I was actually about to do that, and then I saw the released info on Battlefield's blog. And I figured, we'll just have to push that discussion to a later time because there's so much that was released in this little article that they came out with. So now I'll have a link to this in the description below, but I'll kind of go over the things that I felt were the most important, and that actually is most of the article. They gave us a little backstory as to how Commander mode came about for Battlefield 2, and it was also in 2142. And that's actually a really interesting read. But let's get into how Commander mode will actually be used for Battlefield 4. Now, they did say that there's pretty much three different sets that you'll be drawing your commander abilities from. One of them is they titled the main asset loop. One of them is the squad loop, which was a really, really interesting thing. We'll get to that here in a sec. And then there's the general pool that you will always have, no matter what map and game type and all that stuff. The main asset loops are going to be the ones that you actually get from the capture points and things such as Conquest. And squad loop, like I said, we'll get to that because it's actually something that we have not been told yet, and there's a whole lot going on with that. So the basic palette, as they phrase it, includes the UAV for scanning, EMPs for jamming, as well as the cruise missile. It says warning, but I mean it's just the cruise missile that gets launched, which designates an area where the enemy missile will strike. And they do say that you get this warning to give your friendly troops a heads up. Now, obviously, in core mode, you're not going to be taking friendly fire. But if if this missile takes out a lot of the vehicles, the buildings around you, they could collapse on you. And if it is hardcore, then that warning is going to be nice. Then it goes into this one thing called high-value targets. It says, in addition to this, you'll be able to designate high-value targets. This is, again, only the commander. Useful for pointing out especially dangerous enemies on the battlefield. An enemy on a kill streak of 6 or more will appear on the commander's screen as a selectable unit. The player's location can be relayed to the entire team for a period of time, currently 45 seconds. The commander can add this aspect to the game where most players will shift focus for a while and hunt/protect this high-value target player, as both teams alerted to this commander promotion, quote-unquote, when it happens. The attackers will receive additional bonus when taking out said target, while the target will receive bonuses for performing kills while being a high-value target. Thus, both parties have something to gain from this. Now, obviously, when I first read that and saw that you would be targeted potentially after 6 kills, I was a little hesitant because if you guys have seen my gameplay, I get pretty decent KDs, and if you were to spread that out just as a statistical point, I get 10 kill streaks plus a lot. And I know that I get spotted often, but this thing that would be a spot that would last 45 seconds and highly encourage people to find me. I mean, I was a little cautious. But then I saw this little bit where if you're the high-value target, we'll just refer to it as the HVT. The HVT, as they are targeted for that, well, as it is right now, 45 seconds, you get more points for the kills. That's really cool, I guess. That's actually a pretty darn cool thing. I'm excited about that. It'll definitely be a nice challenge. They even say that in there, that experienced players are going to like the added challenge of being an HVT. But being spotted for 45 seconds and in a special spot, it will be interesting. I'm hoping it'll tell you when you are spotted as an HVT. I'm guessing it will. They said something about the GTA star system, so even after being spotted, there might be different levels or stars added to even higher value target players. So that will all be very interesting. And it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Now, I'm not certain the high value target should be triggered at 6. I feel like it should be increased to 10 kills at least. It's just 6 seems really low, and it'll be interesting to see if you can do multiples at a time. By the way, just the the grammar used, it seems like there will only be one HVT at a time for each team. So that's that. What are your guys' thoughts on that? I know that is going to be a hotly talked about thing. This 45-second lengthy spot. That's going to be a heated thing. So, but as it is right now, I like it. For the most part. Well, time will tell. Now, moving on. Main asset loop. These assets can be attained by your team by owning the objectives and are gone once the objectives are lost/destroyed. The more aggressive and impact-heavy assets are located here, depending upon map and game mode. So these, in addition to the ones they're about to list, also seem like they're going to be the ones that are triggered by things like Levolution. Like what we've seen on Paracel Storm. We saw that the ship that crashes up ahead on one of the islands, you get a commander-appointed anti-air turret. So this seems like this would be the category that would include. But it also includes things like the cruise missile, the 2 types of map scans, which is vehicle and infantry. And basically these are scans that are long-term highlighting of this specific enemy type. And then the AC-130 gunship, which obviously we've seen and know quite a bit about. So, moving on. The squad loop. This was something that I really, really liked. So let's get into it. These assets are earned in a similar way to field upgrades. That's basically the new spec system, the perk system. It's similar to the field upgrades for your squad. So an experienced squad player will feel right at home with these. All the commander scoring events are fed into the squad asset bar. Each asset costs 1, 2, 3, or 4 chunks. I like how they just call it chunks of the bar. On a mixed bar, or on a maxed bar, the commander can use the most expensive asset or 4 of the least expensive assets, depending on the situation at hand. Similar to the squad wipe, a chunk of this bar will be depleted when the asset is used. Again, having a similarity to the squad field upgrade bar was important for us when designing this. The asset available in this loop are squad promotion, boosts the squad member's individual field upgrades bar to the next unlock. So that seems kind of cool. That'll be a nice thing to have early on when you're working towards building it. And I'm guessing the commander is going to be able to see each squad and their progress. If they're at the tier 1, 2, 3, or 4, and all that good stuff. So that'll be nice to see early on in the round. The next one is vehicle drop. Deploy a quad bike or a light boat, depending on terrain, via parachute. Next, that one's pretty self-explanatory. Next is rapid deploy. Cut the squad's spawn time in half for a fixed period of time. That right there is awesome. Good commanders are going to be identify those squads that are the really, really aggressive ones, the ones that are their powerhouse squads, and they're going to see the ones that are really, really close to objectives, and just they see that they're dying a lot. They'll be able to use this rapid deploy on them. That I see a whole lot of potential for that. And it'll also be interesting to see if in tournaments and things like that, if commander mode is going to be allowed for tournaments and something like rapid deploy being used. So that one pretty amped for it. And then the next one, very amped for a section of it. This is supply drop. Now, this is something that was in Battlefield 2 and 2142 to an extent, except now it's got this added little bit. This one is deploy a large crate that will heal, resupply, and repair friendly units. So that's infantry and vehicles. Then this part is where it gets really interesting. In addition, friendly units will be able to change kits on the field, which we think is an interesting tactical addition to the game. That is awesome. When you have a vehicle show up on those maps, maybe there's not that many vehicles, so not a lot of people on your team choose the engineer kit. Bam! You run into that one tank, and it gives you such a hassle. Drop this thing nearby. People can change their kits, and it's just a really, really, really awesome thing that I am amped for. So this is really cool. I'm glad to see that they're still adding in that squad aspect. There's not just the main asset loop requires people to PTFO, play those objectives, get those capture points, because if you don't, you're not going to have as good a commander. And if you don't have as good a commander, you yourself are not going to be as good, and it encourages people to want to do well, because it just means they're going to do even better. And then that squad loop aspect is just another fantastic thing to further increase the the team play of Battlefield, what it's known for. So this is such a great update, guys. There's still some more good info in there. Nothing as important, I don't think, but still lots of good info. Check it out, guys. Again, link is down below, and please comment below on here. Comment on the link itself. Post everywhere. Let DICE know. I mean, if you guys share my opinions on this, let them know how awesome this is. They've put a lot of thought into this, and I'm sure a lot of balancing thought has gone into these things, and making sure that they work in a game setting when you've got 64 players running around. So, guys, any questions that you have, any concerns, especially with the high-value target aspect, leave them below. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the gameplay going on there in the background. Cannot wait for the Battlefield 4 beta to come out, so I can actually have some Battlefield 4 content in the background of these discussions. But for now, you'll just have to deal with the awesome chaos that is Battlefield 3. Still a great game. Cannot wait for Battlefield 4, though. I'm so glad Commander Mode is coming back. And again, more discussion on that and its implementation for a video coming up down the line. Hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay and the discussion. Have a good one. Ta-ta.